Hello and welcome back everybody. It's Complicated Relationships Reddit Stories. Hope you guys are safe and healthy. Now let's see what the story is about today. What if you find out your wife is having a secret relationship with a husband of a couple you used to hang out with? A relationship that has been cultivated and developed for over 6 months. Now let's listen to the story. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
We have been together for 14 years, married for 10, and have 2 children. The last thing I ever expected was to find out my wife would cheat on me. It started about a year ago. We became friends with a couple who had similar-age children as us, lived close, and we all got along really well. We started hanging out, watching each other's kids, going out as a group. Over the coming months, my wife and the husband, as they are the primary caregivers to the children while I and the other wife work more hours, started to become closer. They clearly had similar personalities and could just talk and get along. I didn't see a lot of this since it all happened when I was away and they were doing mutual kid stuff together. I wasn't too worried about it though. I trusted my wife. She always had male friends throughout our whole relationship. Through the early spring, there were ups and downs for us. She was somewhat depressed and started going to counseling. She started working out and eventually losing weight. Shortly after, she asked me to go to couples counseling. I thought things were fine, and I kind of said, I think we're okay, let's see how it goes, and left it at that. Our physical intimacy has never been a sore spot, but probably not as active as one would like, but I always knew she wanted it more than me. In and around this time, I found a play item she bought without telling me. She was clearly hiding it, but they went off overnight one night. The next day we talked, and my point was just to say, why didn't you just talk to me about it? Turns out, I was probably depressed too, with work and stuff. We moved 5 years ago to her hometown where she has some friends, but not close friends anymore. I have a good job, I'm a physician, and make good money. Throughout her counseling and working out, the 4 of us started hanging out more. Felt great. Oh, we finally have friends. I was happy about it, and everything felt pretty good in June. We went on a family trip in July, and there, my wife told me the other wife discovered a text thread between my wife and her husband, and it has greatly upset her. She told me it was a large quantity, but just as friends. There was one time she said, I love you, like a joke, but it's all just friendly. She kind of offered to show me the texts, but in a, you don't want to see the texts, do you, kind of way. I had no reason not to trust her at this point, and was like, nah, it's cool. You have guy friends, no big deal.
When they got back, OP started getting anxious. He cannot understand why. He just started to feel insecure.
The 2 of them were spending more time together. He had a week off work for the holiday, with the kids on summer vacation, and I was working all the time to make up for the trip. As I got more anxious, the texts kept coming up, and it turned into, you can't look at the texts, that's an invasion of my privacy. She bought him a present a week before my birthday, one she had to put together with iron-on patches, and that arrived when I was home. I could feel it through the package, and she gave him the next day while I was at work, but then I saw it the day after. My point again, why didn't you just tell me about it? I felt like I was going crazy. Why was I so insecure? Why can't I trust her? Why am I constantly checking Find Your Friends and the Nest cams in the house now? I felt like I was being replaced before with the item I found earlier, and now I feel I was being replaced as a partner too, and I told her that. She reassured me they're just friends and nothing is going on. But my PHQ was at the upper limit of moderate. I wasn't sleeping or eating. So I made an appointment with a psychologist, and I have now been going to the therapist every week since August. Before my next guy trip, I started to learn more of the details. There was not just one I love you, but many. Good night, good morning almost every day. Pet names, etc. I was pretty crushed. A week earlier, my wife made out with me in her sleep and said, I love you, pet name, and then fell back asleep. I was confused. I asked her, and she said I was pet name, but after I learned the truth, I clearly wasn't. I talked to my wife about these details the next day. She said she was so depressed, so sad, and so upset with how I had been treating her the last few years that she almost left me, and he talked her out of it. I talked to him for a while too. I told them I'm okay with them communicating, but the I love yous and pet names need to stop. They agreed, apologized, and he said he was going to back off too. A few weeks go by. We are all hanging out, and I arrive first, and she doesn't really give me a hug or anything. Then he arrives, and I just know she's going to hug him, and she does. I lose my mind. Bad on me. I overreacted for sure. I knew I was doing it and just tried to separate myself to cool off, but she comes and is like, "What is wrong?" And we have a fight about it. I knew I was in the wrong, but she still came to get it out of me. The next day, the other couple decide amongst themselves the best thing for their family is to set a boundary that the male and female from our two families no longer communicate privately. I didn't love this because I was starting to be good friends with the female, but I agree, and my wife said it's BS, but she will respect their wishes. Couple more weeks and we are on a family trip, just us. I oversee that she has been texting him privately the whole time. It's really, every time she goes to the bathroom, she's on her phone. Eventually, I call her out and I was really angry. So much for boundaries, I say. Was not a good day to have this fight, but it happened and I meant what I said.
3 weeks later, OP receives a call and she needs to tell him something.
The other wife looked at the phone logs and the two of them, no longer texting, have now been talking for hours a day. On his way to work, at night, and during lunch every day. Always when I'm at work. I leave for overnight, they are talking. If I'm home at night, no calls, but calls at 4 a.m. Literally every day. I was crushed, betrayed. She lied, like directly lied. Finally, we started going to couples therapy. She assured me and the therapist they had no more communication. It was over, and she was working to rebuild trust so we as families could be friends again and the kids could have their friends back. Well, a month goes by, and one morning on the Nest Cam, I saw my wife taking a workout selfie, but with an awkward kind of pose. Later that night, I'm able to get on her computer and find her photo stream and find they have been texting. No true revealing pics, but almost, going back until August. Also, there are a ton of inspirational quotes about finding your second love, not being able to be with the one you love due to outside circumstances, being with someone who loves you for who you are and not what they want you to be. This is crushing to me. I am so betrayed. I told the other wife. They were using a secret messaging app since our big argument, but there was nothing physical, I was assured. How will this time be different? I find out that she had told him she wanted to run away with him in 5 years when kids are older or 20 years.
OP was told it was just an escape, a fantasy, but nothing physical.
2 days later, he confessed to his wife. They have been missing since August. It was physical numerous times, at least 2 to 3. It all made sense now. She would go run errands during nights she knew the wife would be at work. The first night she went over, I had a bad feeling because she turned Find Your Friends off and hired a sitter before I got home from work. I asked her the next day, and she said, "No, I went to my friend's house. See, here's this picture I took with her." But this was definitely the first night she went to his house to be with him. My wife still didn't tell me about this. We went to couples therapy, she explained the pictures and made a point that nothing physical happened. And then I came out with what I knew. I couldn't hold it anymore. She was ashamed. However, the next day she went to his work to try and talk to him to get closure and tell him sorry. He sped away and she followed for a bit, then turned around and called me. But how can I be sure that's what she wanted? How do I know she didn't go to see if there was something left with him and he wasn't just ignoring her because of what his wife made him do? Now she says she's sorry. She's crushed by what she did too and can't think of anything else. We had a long talk about what this means, and I think we both know this is heading for divorce. I'm not ever going to get past this, and I won't be able to trust her again. I can't. Everything I found out because someone else or I discovered it. She has changed all her computer and phone and iPad passwords. The therapist asked if she would share her passwords, and she was like, "No, it's my privacy." And the therapist was like, you kidding me? If you want any chance for this to work, you need to be 100% transparent. And I'm asking how to proceed tomorrow and the future. The legal stuff I can work out. I've talked to a lawyer, but timing is tough. Long story short, I talked to my lawyer a lot, kept most of the finances joint, and she hasn't moved her money or anything. She told me either she can file or I can, And I told her I would like to, and I was going to file as soon as possible, and she said she's ready. So I filed yesterday, which felt great. We have couples counseling today, mainly to talk about how we're going to proceed with the kids. It will probably be my last session. Well, it's done. She moved out. Tonight is the first night she's not sleeping at the same house as I. She has the kids too. It's okay. I feel well. I found some good friends to hang out with tonight. And I have friends coming over tomorrow and the next night.
Now, this is what OP has to say at the end. It is still sad I miss the good times. I miss what we had. I look at our wedding photo and see how happy she was and wonder what changed, what went wrong. I'm not sure I will ever know. I'm going to be okay. The kids will be cared by both of us. I still love her, but I realize that she has changed and doesn't love me like she used to. My Baba, I'll miss you. I will never forget you. End of the story. Well, OP, hang in there. The wound is fresh, so take proper care to let it heal. Try to channel your feelings into productive energy. Know that love and support surrounds you and that you are valued far more than how she made you feel when things got bad. You're acknowledged and appreciated and didn't deserve the mistreatment. When the time has passed, you will be able to look back and pinpoint exactly when and where and how you felt when you finally decided to take back control of your own life. There is nothing to be appreciated without struggles and hardships. You got this, OP. Good luck. Please like, comment and share the video if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you will be notified when we upload the next video. Take care.